quick demo of how StackGen enables agentic infrastructure generation. So this workflow is meant to solve the issue of long lead times when devs request infra and just try to get access to it so they can deploy their apps. Usually that's a long process because of either tickets or just unfamiliarity with Terraform modules. The future that we see for this kind of request is devs going into a specialized AI system and just asking it a quick question in just natural language. Okay. Now, this kind of request is not possible when we are, dealing with just a, like a generic agentic coding system, because this is a very free form request, right? It is not the infra that gets generated in most AI systems from a prompt like this is not going to be. It's not going to be using our shared internal components. It's going to have governance issues, and it also won't be generated the same way for each dev that makes a request, right? So this is going to create a lot of infrastructure drift, configuration sprawl. The way that StackGen solves this is it actually does not let the AI just synthesize its own Terraform code. This AI is actually creating the infrastructure by calling our internal system that we call StackGen Core. All right, StackGen Core is our original original version of the product. It was originally meant for developers to go in and have like a no-code interface to add infrastructure resources, but now this resource population is completely done by the AI. What that means is that any governance enforcements that we want to impose on devs can now be imposed on AI in the exact same way. And functionally, the output of what we're going to get is a corresponding IAC that's going to be generated in a deterministic way. There's no AI involved in this actual piece of the generation. And the modules that we're going to be using are going to actually be your own internal custom designed modules that are approved for the company. All right. With this system, right, the AI is now able to provide an agentic interface for devs to just make requests and maybe even modifications to their infra. But the AI itself is not going to be capable of hallucinating some infra that is not compliant with your standards. Okay, so there's two things that this is solving, right? One is this is solving the issue of greenfield infra requests. But the second thing that we can actually solve for is, ongoing maintenance and just changes that we have to make to that infrastructure. So here I could say, actually, I need an SNS attached here as well, right? A simple request like this can actually be processed and actually cause our agent system, Aiden, to go through, see if we have an SNS resource module available to use. And if we do, then we will inject it into the generated IAC. And furthermore, Aiden will even pre-populate it with some sane default values so that devs don't even have to worry about figuring out what the TF vars should look like. Now, let me just dive into the governance really quickly. Governance in StackGen works via governance configurations. So here, just to show you what a new configuration would look like, what we can do is we can choose which cloud providers we want to set a governance configuration for. All right, so in this case, I'll just choose AWS. What StackGen has built in is a list of the most commonly enforced frameworks that cybersec teams normally are on the hook for. Right, so for example, the usual suspects would be GDPR, PCI, SOC 2, and maybe the well-architected framework. Right? When we select each of those domains, StackGen is actually just pulling together a curated list of infrastructure security policies. That's just going to give you some broadband blanket coverage for anything that your devs are going to be deploying. Some of our customers make pretty big use out of this feature, but all of our customers actually have their own custom security policies that they want to import into StackGen as well. All right. So what we can do here is, since most of the time we have security policies that are defined in some other system, maybe like an existing CSPM or CNAP, or even just checkoff policies in some database, we can actually just copy paste those policies, paste them into this field. StackGen's LLM will actually convert the intent of those policies that you're putting in, and actually just generating our own our own internal OPA standard for what that policy should actually enforce. All right, so here's a quick example. You can just feed it natural language, and here's the generated custom policy. Okay, so policy addition, pretty quick and easy. Once I know which policies I want to enforce, right, then I can even enforce a required Terraform provider version, right? We can mandate these providers are used for any infra that's generated across a particular set of dev teams, and once that's done, I just choose which teams I want this to apply to, and then I hit create configuration. All right. So this configuration is going to be enforced regardless of who is using StackGen, whether that's people or whether that's AI. The flow that I'm showing when it comes to agentic infra generation is the one where AI is actually interacting with StackGen backend. And in this manner, like really what the AI can be doing is the AI can actually just push a PR into the developer's Git repo after doing all of this work under the hood. And the end result is the developer doesn't even really have to see or even know that StackGen, like another system, is under the hood working to generate all of this, right? They can just make a request, right? Give me infra for my new service, and they just get they basically just get a PR or MR in their repo, and with that, they're ready to go. So in a nutshell, this is just how agentic infrastructure generation works with StackGen. We basically let devs get their infra without having to bug a central platform team and still make sure that infra is secured.